I'm Martin Salter. I work for the Angling Trust in Britain, which is the national body that represents the anglers and the fishermen in Britain. And I've come on a fantastic expedition with Outdoor Kettle to catch golden and chocolate Mahseer on the wonderful Subansiri River.
So what's all this about? Well, this is my 26.5 pound golden Mahseer. It's a fish I've waited nearly 20 years to catch. My last Mahseer trip was to southern India back in 1998, and there we were fishing for the much bigger humpbacked golden Mahseer. But it's certainly been well worth the wait to catch one of these mountain torpedoes.
Great.
What we came for, eh? What we came for. Excellent, guys. That's beautiful. Well done, Bob. Good work with us. Good work handling the fish.
In the last episode of Fishing Britain, you saw me on the Kennet and Avon Canal in Berkshire, testing out my new Mahseer tackle. Well, now I get to use it on what it was really designed for. We start the trip in Kolkata, and it's hard not to start with a cliche, but India certainly assaults your senses. The sheer weight of colour, humanity, noise, humanity again, sight, smells, and even the fish. It is just sensational.
A lot of colonial buildings, massive colonial buildings, which we're being told by not Sri Lanka, but Sribanka was the capital of India.
And how many people live in Calcutta?
Now approximately 14 million.
Okay, well we've only met a few of them, but we've seen an awful lot of humanity.
Was actually a name of a prison where in 1756 the Nawab of Bengal, Nawab Siraj-ud-Dowla, while attacking the British Calcutta at the time, put 123 British soldiers in one small room. And it is said, as per the description of General Holwell, that all these 123 people suffocated to death. And that's what called Black Hole of Calcutta.
Our next stop after Kolkata is a border town nearest to our destination, the wonderful Subansiri River.
Well, we're in Dibrugarh, North Assam, at the East End Hotel, and tomorrow we head into Arunachal Pradesh for the Mahseer. And it feels like we're getting closer to the adventure, and we just heard from Nino, our guide, that only a couple of months ago a 50-pounder came out of the same bit of river that we're going to be fishing, so well excited.
As we cross the mighty Brahmaputra River for the last leg of our journey, we see a rare freshwater dolphin. It is an animal that is suffering from mankind's pollution. Also looking endangered is our ferry. We reach the other side of the river with some relief. We start our long climb up into the hills and the countryside changes. From the hot, dusty plains of Assam, we are now in the foothills of the mighty Himalayas. Finally arriving at our first camp after 5 days of travelling was a great relief, and it took us just moments to put up the rods and head for the river. And here's our team leader, Keith Elliott, editor of the Classic Angling magazine.
It's extraordinary. To think you're obviously thousands of miles away from any civilization. You look here and it's just one of the few places in the world where you can see such wildness. It's extraordinary. We'd like to see more fish, but there's fish here. We've got to work out how to catch them. They're the chocolate Mahseer we seem to have cracked. The golden Mahseer, we're just moving into their water, and it needs different lures. It's faster, more boiling water, and we need to work out how we're going to catch those. I think we can crack it, but it's just starting that. depressing thing is, wherever you go, there are people, but the fish that they're catching are small ones. It's for food. I don't think they're probably worrying the Mahseer, so I think that we shouldn't be too troubled by those or too upset by them. The big disappointment is the lack of wildlife, but it may be because the locals hunt them. And we saw a flight of ducks go over this morning, and there was an eagle in the sky. So I mean, you don't see that a lot in Cambridgeshire. I've got to tell you that.
This border area is safe, but the natives still like to be armed.
What do you use that for?
Elk.
I wasn't aware that there were elk around here, but with a knife like that, I will take his word for it. Back in London, I had gone to see an expert on Mahseer fishing in this area. John Edwards is one of a small gang of Brits who has devoted his life to this fabulous fish and this incredible region.
And I've been fishing Mahseer for 40 years, probably every Mahseer river in India and Nepal. Subansiri is 10 out of 10 over 40 years. I've never had such good Mahseer fishing in all those years. It's the isolation of the Subansiri River. You're going to be putting in at a place, it's a town, central hill town called Daporijo, and it's just at the entrance of the Subansiri Gorge. And the Subansiri Gorge is very steep, and out of the 10-11 days that you'll be rafting down the river, you'll be spending 2 or 3 nights at each camp. For even the local people from the town of Daporijo to go all the way down and catch a few fish to sell in the market ain't not worth it.
Right.
And the entire 11 days, you can actually do the river probably in 6 days if you went hell for leather. There's only one village, and because it's a hill environment, you'll have tiger, you'll have leopard. I mean, any sensible tiger will not show itself to you. When you get out of the tent for a pee, you know, clap your hands, do a whistle, have a pee and get back.
I mean, I do
fast.
anyway. Am I going to catch one as big as this? I mean, this was £92 from the Calvary in 1998. I'm told that the Northern Mahseer are a bit leaner than that.
They're totally different. I mean, I think there is probably 5, 6 or 7 different species of Mahseer. This is a silver deep-bodied Mahseer from what I can see. In the Calvary, as you know, there are tall barbus, which is the golden Mahseer, and because of the environment of the river, their physical shape is totally different. These chaps living in the Calvary live in deep water, deep caves, and they don't necessarily have to be that aerodynamic to handle the swift waters that you get in the northern Himalayan rivers.
So I'm looking at a much longer, leaner, fitter fish, really. I mean, I'm told the fight is tremendous.
Definitely, if you get hooked into 20, 30 plus golden Mahseer, you're in for a good fight. You get a good tug, and then the fish doesn't know what's going on, and then it takes that run like you won't believe. It can strip a couple of 100 yards of line in one go. Then it stops. And it may turn around and go back upstream. So you get confused. But in the end, you've got to make sure your brake and your rod angle is at the right angle so you don't break it. Personally, I feel there's no excuse for losing a Mahseer.
No, I mean, because when the hooks go in, they tend to stay in, but you've got to have strong hooks as well. Now, I read somewhere, John, that you're a big fan of the Toby lures. So if you had to pick one of these little babies here, which one would you select?
I'd select the silver and the copper gold.
The silver and the copper?
Yep.
Not the bluey?
They will hit because there's silver on the other side.
Right.
But no, for 40 years I fished nothing but gold and silver.
And what about the
Tobies.
size of them? I mean, these are the 30
28 gram.
Well, these are 30s and these are 18s for the. But
18s
are too light, aren't they?
Too light. Well, I'd take them because you may get shallow water from a side stream.
And these trebles that they come with are utterly useless. I mean, they're going to bend out.
Oh, the Mahseer will smash that up in no time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you need to get...
well, I've got some extra strong kind of 4X trebles that are going to go on the back of those.
That's what you'll need. Yeah.
And no problem, this little red flasher on the end?
No.
Won't hurt?
No, it'll attract them.
Now tell me about plugs, because I've spent a small mortgage on plugs and I bought just some along. I've got a lot of jointed plugs as you recommended, but
yes.
I mean this baby here, it's called an angel kiss. That caught me a lot of bass and a lot of fish out in Cuba. Again, it's sort of whitey silvery.
No, I wouldn't choose that. Take it along and try it.
This is the Rapala?
That's the one.
That's the baby, is it?
The brown and black.
Right, so
and also not only in clear water, but in muddy water, fishing along on the side of the river. Just slowly reel it in.
So basically we're looking for floating, shallow running lures that will dive down to 1 metre or 2 and no more.
When you're using the repeller, I'd say yes, but if you can get a diving repeller, that will take you down even further. Because the golden mahseer are omnivore. They will eat anything, and they love crab, and they love small fish, they love weed. Every time in the earlier days, we used to open them up to see exactly what they were feeding on, and that they were eating everything, so they're bottom feeders.
Now you talk about diving lures. Now this is called a gold bomber. Now I've caught a lot of barramundi deep down in Australia on this lure.
Yeah.
What do you think about that one?
Oh,
gold and black.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10?
Yeah.
Well, let's go and try and catch a northern Indian Mahseer on an Australian barramundi lure. There you go, that'll be something. On the morning of the 5th day, Mike and Mark skipped breakfast to go fishing, and they came back looking very happy.
We're at Subansiri. You've been gone an awful long time. You've missed breakfast. What's your excuse?
Well, we have had one very special, very pretty fish.
Yes.
That my man caught.
Oh, come on, Mark.
Usual.
What did you have?
That was a 5.5 pound golden mahseer.
The first golden mahseer of the trip.
Absolutely, lovely little fish. Yeah, it took quite close to the edge near a large rock, and went about 10-15 yards out into the fast flow. So even for a small fish, it fought quite well. So yeah, some quite hairy moments around the rocks, and yeah, it was a nice fish to get in.
And did you catch it in that big eddy up there, or were you casting into rocks?
Just below on another big rock, and the eddy behind a big rock.
Oh, so, I remember. Yeah, I fished that last evening.
Yeah.
And compared to the chocolate mahseer, how much harder do the goldens fight?
They definitely fight harder, yes, than the chocolates.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so really nice first golden mahseer. So.
Well, we've got several more days, and we're in golden mahseer territory, so let's get some more.
We are indeed.
We settled down into a pattern of camping, fishing, eating, drinking, camping, and more fishing.
It was very interesting. We took half a dozen or so chickens along with us, and sadly on the way they seemed to disappear. And I thought it must be very exciting, because the last but one night there were 2 left, and I suspect they had such stories to tell their family when they got back. It's a shame, because I got quite attached to Flossie and her mate. They were travelling down river and they're bouncing across these rapids, getting really excited about it. You can tell it was the highlight of their lives. They were on holiday too.
The river provides everything here.
If I'm honest, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to handle roughing it, but it's been okay. It's tough terrain to work in, but it's been a great bunch of guides, good party, and we've got on fine. We've all had our moments of Indian tummy jip, but the most fantastic thing for me, we've been lucky. We've caught some big species of both chocolate and golden mahseer. I was lucky enough to catch a very big chocolate, but haven't succeeded on the golden front, but Martin and Mark caught 2 whackers there. So as a group, I think we've done well. I think fish not as extensive as perhaps we were hoping, but for me, I think the biggest thing about the holiday's been the fantastic terrain, just mountains every day, full of lush greenery. Never seen it before, and we may never see it again if they build this bloody dam down the bottom that they're planning about building, which would be a great shame.
And how was the whitewater rafting? Because you were not sure about it when we talked about coming out, were you?
Yeah, well, I don't know quite what I've done there. I ended up putting myself in the scout boat, thinking that I was going to be safe with the guides. And so Nino would usually take us first over the rapids. And somehow he always seemed to head for the big waves, so I've got very wet. But it's been very exhilarating, and the guides have all been really excellent. They've been great fun, and hopefully they've enjoyed our company as well. I do need a few more comforts that are available on this trip, but it has been fantastic, and I will remember it for a long time.
Mark is the next to catch.
Well, I had a 25.9 golden mahseer on a lure Jensen crocodile out from the rock. It creates a deviation in the flow here at the camp we turned up at. It was quite exciting, quite exciting half hour. We had 2 chocolates out, and I had the 25.9 golden, so it was quite good.
So as well as the big one you've just had here at Chicken Rapid Camp, you had a couple of nice fish earlier on as we were drifting down in the boats.
Yeah, I chuck it out to the side, and I had about a 9-pound golden Mahseer on a Rapala, and yeah, and probably about an hour later, I had probably about 5-pound, 4-pound copper Mahseer, which is pretty good. Which I also again chucked to the side from the boat.
So if you were to get a chocolate Mahseer this evening, you would have the Himalayan Grand Slam.
Himalayan
right?
Grand Slam, indeed, yeah.
One of the high points of the trip is Mike Robinson's possible new record chocolate Mahseer, weighing 20 pounds 8 ounces and caught on a copper spoon upstream from the rapids at Subansiri. There is no record for this species as yet, but it's certainly a big fish and deserves to be up there on the scoreboard. Fishing in India, particularly in the Himalayas, it's not just about the fish, it's about the place, it's about the journey to get there, it's about the danger, the excitement, the pristine wilderness, one of the last untouched places, holding incredible fish in a landscape to die for.
Extraordinary. I mean, this came ostensibly as a fishing trip, but it's been much more than that. We're travelling through some of the most amazing countryside in the world, towering gorges, wonderful mountainside, and probably if you walked inland you could think you could probably walk for 100 miles and not see anybody. You might see a tiger or a leopard or two, and in fact, through the camp we've seen leopard tracks, so it's very, very wild. But it's been the most extraordinary experience. I think everyone has said this has just been amazing, sort of defining moment of my life. The fishing has been pretty good, I think, considering that we're fishing for very rare fish. We've caught, I think, 25 Mahseer, 10 double figure fish, including 2 world records, which is extraordinary. And it's not easy fishing, but you feel much happier when you work for your fish like that. And it's been the whole thing. It hasn't just been the fishing. We've eaten very well. I mean, looking after us on the river for 2 weeks, you imagined that we'd be eating sand. They've cooked incredible things for us. There are chickens that have travelled down river with us that sadly didn't make the final journey, but they felt they died a happy death. The guides have been absolutely fabulous. We've gone through whitewater rapids that probably would have terrified the life out of people, and they've handled it very well, and you felt very safe all the time. I would love to come back here. It's a long run, but look at me, I'm 68 and I'm doing this, and I think most of the people looking at this will think, I'm younger than that, I could do that, and they should.
A large but as yet unfinished dam on the lower Subansiri threatens the fishing here. The weight of humanity in India extends even into its wildest places. But as long as there are sporting anglers keen to travel and fish for the Mahseer, there will be strong incentives to keep these wonderful fish swimming free in the magnificent mountain rivers of India.
And there's every chance that in 5 or 10 years' time we will look at this and it will be a vast lake and a vast dam which will do what? Displace a lot of people, wreck the fishing, wreck the beauty of this place. That doesn't seem a fair bargain to me.
I fished the Subansiri River with Outdoor Kettle. I urge you to give it a go, at least once in your life.
It's wonderful. We had a lot of good fish, and yeah, just a great trip, except for one day when it rained a bit, but otherwise wonderful.
And how did we cope with the whitewater rapids? No one has done it before. None of us have done it before, so we were all a bit frightened.
You were okay, except for someone screaming like a girl.